Welcome to our Careers Conversation series. This is where we sit down with colleagues across Captiva Learning and beyond to hear their real stories on how they got to where they are today. In each episode, we will give you an honest look at the twists and turns and the challenges and the wins that shape every career journey. Today, I'm joined by John Cobb, our operational director, and I can't wait to hear about the path into their role. Your current role, can you tell me a little bit about it? And also, I know that now you've had a bit of a job title change, so many
Yes.
congratulations on that one as well. So if you just want to give me a quick introduction into who is John and what you do currently.
John isn't defined by his job title. However, yeah, I have just had a job change, which has been symptomatic of joining the Impact Futures Group. So I'm now operations director, which basically means that I look after all of the operations, and in operations in terms of apprenticeships is really all the delivery and the support for learners. So all the teams that work to deliver the magic really around success and achievement for learners. So it means working and leading teams broadly across the group now to achieve success.
Excellent. So I think there's been such a massive change for you. But before, what was your kind of career history before even starting with Captiva? If we go back to when you were younger, what did you
How
do then?
far back do you want to
Well,
go,
okay, let's
Ross?
go for um what when you were growing up, when you were just a little wee boy, what did you want to do? What was your
Always
passion?
Always wanted to be a detective, loved Agatha Christie, so saw myself going into policing or definitely detective work. But that changed over time, and no, it ended up really not doing particularly well at school, scraping some A levels, going to uni, completing a business degree, which probably only until really the last couple of years I've probably started to use properly. Yeah, and then finishing uni, without too much clear direction. So I've had quite a different career in terms of lots of different roles.
What
Um,
was your kind of first role that you did then? What was your first job? Do you remember?
well, so my first role, and this was achieved because I did quite a lot of temping and temporary work whilst at uni. And one of those jobs was working for a company called the Chocolate Club, which was a chocolate mail order company. And I worked there a number of summers and breaks to earn a bit of money. And they kept asking me back. I was obviously doing something right. I was selling chocolates online, taking orders, and yeah, it was really interesting. Got to sample some of the produce as well, which was good. Yeah, when I finished uni, they offered me a role as working at the chocolate club as the club secretary, which basically in such a small company was basically the dog's body. So everything from competitor analysis to procurement to taking sales to marketing even and producing catalogs and brochures. It was a brilliant grounding because it was doing a lot of working for a small business and doing a lot at the age of 21. Not getting paid particularly well, but giving me some brilliant experience around business, which was really useful. So, I think that working for that particular organisation was a bit of a personal. The owner he owned a marketing company, and I think this was just a bit of a flight of fancy for him, really. A little bit of dipping his toe into the sort of the chocolate market. Yeah, I was helping him with that. Really, not very profitable to be honest with you, and I don't think it exists today. But yeah, just a really random job to start off with.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think you mentioned something there that you did a lot of temping. Now, I think in any kind of careers, I think temping is a brilliant thing to do. It's kind of like that buy before you try, or try before you buy, even kind of moment. And lots of people can sample different career paths and see what it's like in different organizations. Did you go anywhere else within that kind of temporary work that you did, or was
I
it just the
worked, I
chocolate
worked,
company?
I worked everywhere. So I was working at Harvey Nichols in the women's wear department, completely out of my comfort zone. I'd work for the Royal Mail, and I'd work in sorting offices and doing anything really that I could get paid for because just after uni, I was, I had rent to pay. I was living in London. I'd do anything really to make ends meet. So you couldn't be picky. Yeah,
Yeah.
until I got this, obviously the offer of a permanent role with the chocolate club.
So what was just, out of interest, what was the best-selling chocolate or the best tasting chocolate that you think that you
Oh,
had at the chocolate club?
well, there were these champagne truffles which were produced by a Swiss company, Ackermans, I think, which were absolutely to die for. To be honest, a few used to go missing on occasion because we used to.
Quite
There was a chocolate producer as well. We used to buy in chocolates from around the continent. It was generally sort of high cocoa content
yeah.
chocolates, and there was a Ackermans were usually produced in Camden Town. Actually, used to produce chocolate from their factory there. So yeah, it was quite a good place to work.
It sounds like it gave you a whole load of a different range of experience to actually be able to kind of go forward. So moving on throughout your career then, so you started there, you were doing this kind of company secretary kind of role, but if you want jack of all trades, so
Yeah,
I'm doing everything.
yeah,
Um, and I've used the term before of different places that I've worked as well, John, that I've done all the projects, I've done everything, I've even cleaned the toilets. That's how
yeah.
dedicated I was, and I bet you probably were as well in that term. So what kind of got you into education, into this apprenticeship world that you now are in?
Well, it wasn't directly in there. I had a career in finance for best part of 15 years. So training as a financial consultant, ended up as a training other financial consultants. So that was my first venture into learning and development. And then I became a regional development manager for large banks in the UK. So I've had so that was my other career, I suppose. I had a full career in finance, and then before we spoke about this, you talked about Lehman Brothers and everything else that highly affected that sector that I was working in at the time, but in about 2008, and did force me to. I was made redundant a couple of times from organisations. It did force me to reevaluate the sector that I was working in. Plus, also, I learned a lot about how not to manage and lead. Some dreadful, dreadful managers that I work for, and a not very healthy culture quite often around how the organisations operated, and it taught me a lot about how to treat other individuals, manage other individuals, and also how to treat customers as well, or not treat customers. So it was a lot learnt there, but and worked with some brilliant people and some absolutely terrible managers as well.
So do you think like mentors have really helped you with your career to get to where you are now?
Uh, mentors not so
Yeah.
much. Going into apprenticeships was more of an opportunity given by my brother at the time who worked. Well, it actually wasn't. It was in education and working in recruitment because the transferable skills were really around financial sales and then into recruitment, which is basically selling people. Is it was quite an easy transition. So it was more around the opportunity really that's been was given to me at that time, and then actually fell in love with working in education and working with teachers, and actually finding a much more a culture that really suited me rather than quite a blunt sales culture that I had in finance.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
what do you think has been kind of your biggest learning point then for yourself to kind of that you've
Um,
taken away and you put into your work from like especially your financial background and kind of all the redundancies and the
I
pivoting that
think
you had to do?
You build up resilience, but you also build up an appreciation of good culture within organizations. What, how you want to treat other people, is how you've been treated well yourself, or vice versa. Don't not having that absolutely micro management manager that sort of affects you, and quite often creates stress, and puts you at some unease. So I think that's really what I've learned is great management, great culture, and working in a place where you want to work. I think, and knowing full well that that's within your gift. So taking stuff from previous roles that you've had, and experiences, and making sure that you're in control of things, and work with an organization that actually suits you. Because otherwise, there are a lot of people, and less and less now, career people that stick in one organization and don't know any different. I think that's
Yeah.
really, really sad.
It is, and it's changed a lot, hasn't it? Especially over
Mm.
the past, probably, I'd say 20 years. It used to be
Mhm.
people would go into one job and they would stay in that company for that amount of time. But now it's not very often people stay more than 2 or 3 years in one company. You see it all the time on CVs. There's these career jumpers and they
Yeah.
jump around all the time. But for that, what do you think? I lost my question now. Trying to think what it was now. Can't think. It's gone. It's all right. It's all right. I can take that bit out. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, let's carry on. What was my next bit? Oh, I know. What so with your all of your career paths, it has been really quite interesting. You've had a kind of a mixed, varied, you've had a different career in life before, and you've come into now
Mm.
this education, apprenticeship world.
Yeah.
But what do you think has been your biggest kind of standout moment or the proudest time that you've had in your career so far?
Um, I think the thing that really drives me is building teams, and when I see colleagues succeed and gain promotions, and thrive, and I think that's the key for me. Is so not one individual time; it's every time anyone um, is able to flourish, and that gives me immense pride in terms of enabling that to happen. So it's difficult to pinpoint an actual time, if I'm honest.
Is there any kind of tips you would give anybody that may be listening to what will help them drive forward to help them further their careers? So
Yeah,
not just within Captiva, but kind of our wider audience as well.
yeah. I'd always say that you know make sure that you're working at a place that actually cares about you. Um, you know, thinking about the culture of the organization, and whether it suits you as an individual. And don't settle for something that's substandard. If it's not right, then be brave enough to move, and try something different. And remember that if you move, there's always transferable skills. Even
Mhm.
if you think you're doing something completely different, there are all skills that you'll take with you and be able to use. So I think that bravery, really, and be brave to make
Yeah,
a decision, and change if it's not right. I think.
I think that's brilliant advice to have. And what, in your current position now, so across the group, what do you think is probably one of the most enjoyable parts of your job? I know you said to me about seeing people progress and
Yeah.
grow. Is that still the what you think is most enjoyable? Or is there something different?
Uh, it is seeing people grow, but also it is knowing, being able to say thank you. I think is a really important thing. That's very important, that you've got the opportunity to mark success. So, making sure that you don't just move on to the next thing, but you actually appreciate that we've done a really good job with these learners. The satisfaction rates, the amount of achievement there, and actually celebrating the impact that you have. So a lot of it is helping school leaders, or support staff to really flourish, and actually understanding the real impact that you make on their lives, is gives you some validation around what you do. So I think that's the other thing.
Brilliant. And have you got anything for your own kind of personal development on the horizon at all? Or any
No,
projects?
no,
How
no,
long have
no.
it been since you studied last?
Well, I finished this year, and so I graduate with my MBA in 4 weeks' time. So yeah, that's enough for now, I think. I'm trying to, yeah, I think, I've studied quite religiously over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, and I think I'm going to take a little break really around that. So no more studying for a while.
No, well done and congratulations on the MBA. And I think you'd have a nice deserved rest from studying, but it doesn't mean that work stops, does it, for you?
Oh, the work won't stop. No, that's why I don't want to study now, because work's probably going to ramp up.
And we're just kind of getting to the final kind of few questions here, but if you could pick anything that you've heard, learned, or done, or discovered over your years, what do you think the best kind of career guidance or advice you could give people for today if they're looking to kind of progress their own careers? What's the advice you could give them?
Um, you know, so when you looking to progress careers, things happen quite naturally. Generally, you find that you're rewarded with promotion because you're already doing the person's job that you're looking to progress into. That normally happens. So I would suggest stretch yourself. Don't just stick within your own role, but look at other opportunities. And a decent manager, if they're worth the salt, will be looking to delegate to do just that, to talent manage. So take that opportunity to widen what you do, not just what's written on your job spec, and then by lo and behold, you'll end up actually doing that job that you've started to do regularly anyway.
And that's brilliant. And just finally, a few questions. So don't think about it, just tell me. Tea or coffee?
Pete,
Early bird or night owl?
early bird.
One word to describe your job, and you're not allowed to be
Satisfying.
busy. Oh, good, good. Favorite podcast, book, or quote?
Diary of a CEO.
That seems to be a very big popular thing. Right, John, thank you ever so much for taking the time with us today, and we will wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you.